When you hear the term settlement with a state agency, you might wonder what it really means. In simple terms, a settlement is an agreement reached between an individual or organization and a state agency to resolve a dispute or legal issue without going to trial. These settlements can arise from a variety of situations, such as regulatory violations, employment disputes, or contract disagreement. Instead of enduring a lengthy and costly court process, both parties agree on specific terms to resolve the matter. This approach often benefits both sides by saving time, money, and resources, while also providing a clear resolution to the issue at hand. Settlements with state agencies occur for many reasons. Sometimes, an individual or business may be accused of violating a regulation or law. Rather than fighting the case in court, which can be expensive and time-consuming, both parties may choose to negotiate a settlement. This allows the agency to enforce its rules and the other party to resolve the issue without admitting guilt or facing harsher penalties. Settlements can also help maintain relationships and avoid negative publicity that might come with a public trial. Ultimately, settlements are about finding a practical solution that works for everyone involved. State agencies come in many forms, each with its own area of responsibility. Some agencies oversee environmental regulations, while others handle labor laws, consumer protection, or public health. When a dispute arises, the specific agency involved will depend on the nature of the issue. For example, a business accused of polluting a river would likely deal with the state environmental agency, while a worker with a wage complaint might interact with the labor department. Understanding which agency is involved is the first step in navigating a potential settlement. The types of disputes that lead to settlements with state agencies are diverse. They can include environmental violations, workplace safety issues, discrimination claims, or even disputes over licensing and permits. Each case is unique, but the common thread is that both the agency and the other party see value in resolving the matter outside of court. By settling, they can avoid the unpredictability of a trial and work toward a solution that addresses the concerns of both sides. The process of reaching a settlement with a state agency typically begins when a dispute or alleged violation is identified. The agency may conduct an investigation and then notify the individual or business of its findings. At this point, both parties may enter into negotiations to discuss possible resolutions. These discussions can involve legal representatives, mediators, or other professionals. The goal is to agree on terms that are acceptable to both sides, which are then formalized in a written settlement agreement. A settlement agreement with a state agency usually includes several key elements. These may involve a description of the alleged violation, the agreed-upon actions to resolve the issue, any financial penalties or restitution, and a timeline for compliance. The agreement may also specify what happens if either party fails to uphold their end of the bargain. By clearly outlining these terms, the settlement helps prevent future misunderstandings and ensures that both sides know what is expected. Legal counsel often plays a crucial role in settlement negotiations with state agencies. Attorneys can help their clients understand the legal implications of the dispute, evaluate the strengths and weaknesses of their case, and negotiate favorable terms. They also ensure that the final agreement is legally sound and protects their clients' interests. Having experienced legal representation can make the settlement process smoother and help avoid unintended consequences. Negotiating a settlement with a state agency requires careful strategy. Both sides may start with different positions, but the goal is to find common ground. Effective negotiation involves understanding the agency's priorities, being clear about your own goals, and being willing to compromise where possible. Sometimes, mediation or alternative dispute resolution methods are used to help facilitate the process. The most successful settlements are those where both parties feel their concerns have been addressed. Settlements with state agencies often involve financial components. This can include fines, penalties, or restitution payments. The amount will depend on the nature and severity of the alleged violation, as well as any mitigating factors. Sometimes, payment plans or reduced penalties are negotiated as part of the settlement. Understanding the financial implications is important for anyone considering a settlement, as it can impact budgets and future operations. Not all settlement terms are financial. State agencies may require other actions, such as implementing new policies, undergoing training, or making operational changes. These non-financial terms are designed to address the root cause of the dispute and prevent future violations. By agreeing to these terms, the individual or business demonstrates a commitment to compliance and improvement, which can be beneficial in the long run. Many settlement agreements include confidentiality clauses. These provisions restrict the parties from disclosing the details of the settlement to the public or third parties. Confidentiality can be important for protecting reputations and sensitive information. However, some settlements, especially those involving public agencies, may be subject to open records laws, which require certain information to be made public It's important to understand the scope and limitations of any confidentiality provisions in a settlement agreement. One important aspect of settlements is whether the party accused of wrongdoing must admit guilt. In many cases, settlements are reached without admission of liability, meaning the party does not formally admit to any violation. This can be beneficial for protecting reputations and avoiding further legal consequences. However, some agencies may require an admission as part of the agreement, especially in serious cases. The specific terms will depend on the circumstances and the agency's policies. Once a settlement is reached, it is typically formalized in a written agreement that is legally binding. If either party fails to comply with the terms, the other party can seek enforcement through the courts. State agencies have various tools to ensure compliance, such as monitoring, follow-up inspections, or additional penalties. It's crucial for both sides to fully understand their obligations and the consequences of non-compliance before signing the agreement. Because state agencies are public entities, many settlement agreements become part of the public record. This means that members of the public or the media can request access to the agreement and related documents. Transparency is important for maintaining public trust, but it can also mean that sensitive information becomes available. Parties should be aware of what information will be disclosed and consider this when negotiating settlement terms. Settling with a state agency offers several advantages. It can resolve disputes more quickly than going to court, reduce legal expenses, and provide certainty about the outcome. Settlements can also allow for creative solutions that might not be available through litigation. For state agencies, settlements help enforce regulations efficiently and free up resources for other priorities. Both sides can move forward without the stress and uncertainty of a trial. While settlements have many benefits, there are also potential drawbacks. Some parties may feel pressured to settle, even if they believe they did nothing wrong, simply to avoid the risks of litigation. Others may worry that settling sets a precedent for future disputes. Additionally, the terms of the settlement may be less favorable than what could have been achieved in court. It's important to carefully weigh the pros and cons before agreeing to a settlement. If a settlement cannot be reached, the dispute may proceed to a formal hearing or trial. This process is typically more adversarial and can take much longer to resolve. Other alternatives include mediation or arbitration, where a neutral third party helps the sides reach an agreement. Each option has its own advantages and disadvantages, and the best choice will depend on the specifics of the case. Mediation is a common tool used in settlement negotiations with state agencies. In mediation, a neutral third party helps the disputing sides communicate and explore possible solutions. The mediator does not make decisions but facilitates productive discussions. Mediation can be less formal and more flexible than court proceedings, often leading to creative and mutually acceptable outcomes. Arbitration is another alternative to court or settlement. In arbitration, a neutral arbitrator hears both sides and makes a binding decision. This process is more formal than mediation, but usually faster and less expensive than a trial. Some state agencies may offer arbitration as an option for resolving disputes, especially when the issues are complex or highly technical. Preparation is key to successful settlement negotiations. This means gathering all relevant documents, understanding the facts of the case, and being clear about your goals. It's also important to research the agency's policies and past settlements in similar cases. Being well prepared helps you make informed decisions and negotiate from a position of strength. Before entering into a settlement, it's important to understand your legal rights and obligations. This includes knowing what you are agreeing to, what rights you may be waiving, and what remedies are available if the other party does not comply. Consulting with an attorney or legal expert can help ensure that your interests are protected throughout the process. The final step in the settlement process is drafting and signing a written agreement. This document outlines all the terms and conditions of the settlement, including any actions to be taken, payments to be made, and deadlines to be met. Both parties should review the agreement carefully to ensure that it accurately reflects their understanding and intentions. Once signed, the agreement becomes legally binding. After a settlement is signed, both parties must take steps to fulfill their obligations. This may involve making payments, changing business practices, or submitting reports to the agency. State agencies may monitor compliance to ensure that the terms are being followed. Failing to comply with a settlement can lead to additional penalties or legal action, so it's important to take these responsibilities seriously. Sometimes, circumstances change after a settlement is reached, making it difficult or impossible to comply with the original terms. In such cases, it may be possible to negotiate a modification of the agreement. Both parties must agree to any changes, and the modified terms should be documented in writing. Seeking legal advice is recommended when considering changes to a settlement. If one party fails to comply with the terms of a settlement, it is considered a breach of agreement. The other party may take legal action to enforce the settlement or seek damages. State agencies have various enforcement mechanisms, including fines, additional penalties, or even revoking licenses. It's important to act promptly if a breach occurs to protect your rights and interests. Let's look at a real-world example. A manufacturing company is accused of polluting a local river. The state environmental agency investigates and finds evidence of a violation. Rather than going to court, the company and agency negotiate a settlement. The agreement includes a fine, a commitment to clean up the river, and new procedures to prevent future pollution. This settlement resolves the issue efficiently and benefits the community. In another example, an employee files a complaint with the state labor agency alleging unpaid wages. The agency investigates and finds merit in the claim. Rather than proceeding to a hearing, the employer and employee reach a settlement. The employer agrees to pay the owed wages and implement new payroll procedures. This outcome resolves the dispute quickly and helps prevent similar issues in the future. A small business faces a dispute with a state licensing agency over alleged non-compliance with regulations. Instead of risking license suspension, the business negotiates a settlement. The agreement includes a probationary period, corrective actions, and regular reporting to the agency. This allows the business to continue operating while addressing the agency's concerns. A retailer is accused by the State Consumer Protection Agency of deceptive advertising. After an investigation, both parties agree to a settlement. The retailer pays a fine, refunds affected customers, and agrees to change its advertising practices. This settlement addresses the agency's concerns and helps restore consumer trust. A restaurant is cited by the state health department for unsanitary conditions. Rather than contesting the citation in court, the owner negotiates a settlement. The agreement includes a temporary closure, staff training, and a follow-up inspection. By complying with the settlement, the restaurant can reopen and regain customer confidence. A student files a complaint with the state education agency over unfair disciplinary action. The agency investigates and facilitates a settlement between the student and school. The agreement includes removing the disciplinary record and implementing new procedures for handling similar complaints. This resolution helps the student and improves school policies. An employee alleges discrimination and files a complaint with the state human rights agency. After investigation, the parties reach a settlement. The agreement includes compensation, policy changes, and anti-discrimination training for staff. This outcome addresses the employee's concerns and promotes a more inclusive workplace. A business is audited by the state tax agency and found to owe back taxes. Rather than contesting the findings in court, the business negotiates a settlement. The agreement includes a payment plan and interest reduction. This allows the business to resolve the issue and continue operations without the burden of a large, immediate payment. A construction company is cited by the state safety agency for unsafe working conditions. The company and agency negotiate a settlement that includes safety training, equipment upgrades, and periodic inspections. This agreement improves workplace safety and helps the company avoid further penalties. A tech company is investigated by the state privacy agency for a data breach. The settlement includes a fine, new data protection measures, and regular audits. By resolving the issue through settlement, the company can rebuild trust with customers and regulators. A utility company faces allegations from the State Utility Commission over billing errors. The settlement includes customer refunds, system upgrades, and improved customer service protocols. This agreement addresses the agency's concerns and helps restore public confidence in the utility. An insurance company is investigated by the state insurance agency for unfair claims practices. The settlement includes restitution to affected policyholders, changes to claims procedures, and ongoing monitoring. This resolution benefits consumers and ensures better compliance in the future. A trucking company is cited by the State Transportation Agency for violating safety regulations. The settlement includes fines, driver training, and updated safety protocols. This agreement helps the company improve compliance and avoid future violations. A property developer faces allegations from the State Real Estate Agency regarding improper disclosures. The settlement includes a fine, corrective disclosures, and additional training for staff. This resolution helps protect consumers and improve industry standards. A healthcare provider is investigated by the state health agency for billing irregularities. The settlement includes repayment of overcharges, compliance training, and regular audits. This agreement resolves the dispute and helps ensure better practices in the future. A financial services firm is cited by the state finance agency for misleading advertising. The settlement includes a fine, restitution to affected clients, and new advertising guidelines. This outcome addresses the agency's concerns and helps restore public trust in the firm. A food manufacturer is cited by the State Food Safety Agency for contamination issues. The settlement includes a recall, new safety protocols, and staff training. By settling, the company can address the problem quickly and protect consumers. A water utility is investigated by the State Utilities Agency for service interruptions. The settlement includes infrastructure upgrades, customer compensation, and improved communication protocols. This agreement helps ensure reliable service for customers and addresses the agency's concerns. A security company is cited by the State Public Safety Agency for inadequate training of guards. The settlement includes enhanced training programs, regular evaluations, and compliance reporting. This resolution improves public safety and helps the company maintain its license. Settlements with state agencies are a practical way to resolve disputes without the need for a lengthy trial. They offer flexibility, efficiency, and the opportunity for creative solutions. However, it's important to understand the terms, seek legal advice, and ensure compliance with the agreement. By doing so, individuals and businesses can resolve issues effectively and move forward with confidence.